Madam Chair, and I very much appreciate your holding this hearing. And I think we both know that reminiscing around here can just be insufferable. I do just briefly want to note that you and I have a history on this topic. When I was chair, we held a hearing to discuss our comprehensive bipartisan bill, the Murkowski-Wyden Critical Minerals Policy Act. That bill was smart minerals policy because it demonstrated that efficient, predictable management of U.S. mineral supplies and protecting America's land and water are not mutually exclusive. That bill showed it is possible to do both. Now, today's hearing is especially important because, in my view, the President has embarked on an about-face on both fronts. The Trump administration is now promoting an unfair policy on tariffs that means that because of his approach with respect to tariffs on critical minerals, U.S. companies will be needlessly hurt in their ability to compete. And this is going on while simultaneously there is an effort to gut the environmental laws. That is a real combination. Hurting family wage jobs and clean air and water. In my view, foolish even by Washington, D.C. Beltway standards. Here's why. The U.S. imports most of these key minerals, including 100% of rare earth metals. The imports come mostly from China. Critical minerals are at the heart of technologies like solar cells, wind turbines, and batteries that are moving our country to a more efficient, lower carbon energy future. They are essential to creating more red, white, and blue jobs, as the clean energy economy already supports 6.4 million jobs across the country. Now, as the chair just noted, it's especially important this morning to also talk about trade issues. And as the ranking Democrat on the Senate Finance Committee with jurisdiction over trade, my trade philosophy has been real simple. Make it in America, grow it in America, add value to it in America, and then ship it somewhere. One sentence. Instead of that kind of approach, which means you have to have a level playing field for our red, white, and blue manufacturers, the President is now taking a bad situation and making it worse. Our manufacturers are already heavily dependent on Chinese supplies, and China has made it difficult for them to obtain raw materials. Now the President wishes to make it even harder for U.S. manufacturers with a flawed tariff approach that would impose new U.S. tariffs on the raw materials imports, making it yet more expensive and potentially prohibitive for U.S. tech manufacturers to make products here at home. In 2010, China tried to restrict the export of critical rare earth minerals, causing both price spikes and supply shortages across the tech sector. The United States successfully challenged China before the World Trade Organization, and we were able to restore a measure of stability in the market. But now, thanks to the Trump administration, U.S. manufacturers that depend on China for these and other critical materials are once again in great jeopardy. To basically have that trade policy that I just outlined, growing things here, making things here, American manufacturers have to have access to critical minerals. The President's trade strategy is almost impossible to divine, but what I know for sure is that we get a daily dose of trade chaos. And that kind of chaos, particularly here, threatens access to minerals, and it will be American workers and American companies who suffer for it. Our country's come a long way in efficiently locating, extracting, processing, and using critical minerals. And I want to come back just as we wrap up, because I see Senator Manchin is here, and I had enjoyed going to West Virginia and talking about energy policy with him. Colleagues, this does not have to be an either-or choice. Making sure we have markets for our companies while not harming our land, air, and water, those things are not mutually exclusive. We can have smart policies that do both. And I think, I remember, Mr. Egger, we talked about this some already once here in this committee. So I am very much in favor, as I know the chair is, in developing domestic supplies of rare earth and critical minerals. And the two of us showed back in 2013 how to go about doing it. We also called for a review of federal hard rock mining regulations, permitting, which the chair noted, and leasing procedures. So I really look forward to this morning's discussion. We shouldn't have to wait another 6 years to come out with the kind of smart policy that I thought the chair and I were striving for back in 2013. So, Madam Chair, thank you, and look forward to tackling this issue, and I know a number of others with you.
Senator